We'll start with Anthony.
My bad. I don't have a question. I just forgot to unraise my hand.
Eric, you go ahead.
Hey, Cassidy, just one thing that's obviously stood out about you is just your ability to catch fly balls and lay out and make diving catches no matter where it seems the ball is hit. When did you learn that that's kind of a skill of yours, or what is it about your play that allows you to be fearless in that way?
Personally, I think that like if my mindset is nothing falls or nothing drops, then very little will. So that's just really where I go at it. I think like, okay, like no balls dropping, we're going to get to everything. And growing up, I feel like with my parents and just everyone I was always surrounded by, that was just like the goal. You wanted to catch everything, like do what you could. So that plays a huge role in it.
Is that something you can practice?
Not necessarily. I mean, range balls, we can do range balls, but aside from that, you just kind of go for everything you can get. So that's really it.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Cassidy, you all are kind of going into the unknown here for those of you that haven't participated in an NCAA regional before. Where do you draw confidence from despite going into something that you haven't experienced before? Because it feels like a pretty confident group right now.
Right. So I think confidence-wise, we just kind of feed off one another. Like we know we can handle any team. We know that we play together. We know how one another plays. I think that it's really just trusting each other and knowing our goal. And some coach always said was like, hay's already in the barn. So we have all the skills we need. We are like, our mindset's right. We just got to go out there and play the game.
Eric, do you have another one?
I do. Cassie, you're still kind of at least relatively new to Columbia. How quickly and have you been able to kind of at least, get used to living in Columbia, and how easy has that experience been?
It hasn't been too bad. The first semester here, I wasn't aware of like this. I was aware that it snowed, but how to drive in it, I wasn't prepared for. I hydroplaned a couple times. But other than that, I mean, I really like it. I'm growing. It's really growing on me. I didn't think I would really move up north, even it's like the Midwest, but I call it northern. But I really like it. It's growing on me, and I couldn't imagine anywhere else I'd rather be. So.
Colin and Anthony.
Cassidy, 100% capacity supposedly this weekend. Just what do you think the energy is going to be like in the stadium? What are you most excited for this weekend?
I'm so excited that we have full capacity. Being able to have all of our fans here and them cheering for us is huge, and not like opposing team, how like because at Arkansas, like there was a huge crowd, but they weren't really all cheering for us. So knowing that they're going to have our backs and they're going to be pushing for us is huge.
Yeah, just kind of piggybacking off of that question. Obviously, it's going to be the first time that you have been able to experience Mizzou softball stadium at full capacity. So what's that going to be like for you?
I'm really excited. I'm ready to see like what the full stands looks like, how the berm's going to be filled, what everyone's energy is going to be, if I'm going to get heckled, if I'm going to be like cheered for, like what's all their attitudes going to be like towards everyone. So.
Andrew, go ahead.
Cassie, what's the on the SEC network? We've heard a couple times about the alligators and you swimming with alligators. Are you actually swimming with alligators, or what's the story behind that? Have you done that?
Technically, yes. So, like I said, we go in the river like all the time. I live on the river actually. So by like 6:30, like we're in there all day, and then by 6:30, 7 o'clock, you're like, okay, like it's time to get out. And then if you go out on the dock, like about probably 10 o'clock, and you like with a flashlight, you see all the red eyes. So you really don't want to be in the water when it's like, sun's down. But yeah, we really do swim with them, but try not to get by them. So.
Any close calls? Like what's the closest call?
The closest, I actually wasn't in the water for it. We set out some crabbing lines, and then instead of a crab getting it, the alligator took the turkey leg. And then my sister went up to pull it thinking it was crabs, and it was not. It was probably a 6-7 foot gator. And we were like, Carly, like move. And yeah, it was pretty close, but we weren't in the water, thankfully. So that was a good news.
Eric and then Colin.
I have to follow up about this gator thing. I was kind of curious about that too. Is that just living in Louisiana, that kind of thing? Or what is it?
Yeah, it's definitely something you're going to experience if you go to Louisiana. And right now, actually, we're having some flooding issues. And even when there's not flooding issues, like people will catch them on the side of the highway just crossing the road. But I'm sure now that there's like 4 foot, 5 foot of water, they're just like on the roads probably, but you just can't see them. So it's definitely something you're going to see if you go down there by any body of water. So, yeah.
Well, I didn't know crabs like turkey legs, so I learned some today as well.
Yeah. That's what you want to put in your net. Yeah.
Coach Anderson said that, you guys are kind of preparing for some other teams playing small ball, but that for your own side of things, Coach Malvo probably wasn't going to call for a whole lot of bunts. What's the approach going to be like at the plate for this weekend for you guys? Is it going to be that much different, or is it kind of because it's postseason, runs are going to be that much harder to come by?
So the approach, my opinion, is probably going to stay pretty much the same. Our goal is to hit the ball hard, hit it far, and then the runs will come. So that's what I'm thinking we're going to be doing this weekend. Just hit it far and see what you can do with it.
Eric, and then Andrew, do you have one as well?
Yes, I have another one. Cassie, do you have any previous memories of just watching the NCAA tournament, or being close to another program playing it that you're drawing on to now that you get to live it out?
Yeah, so actually my freshman year when I was at UL and my sophomore year, we made it to the NCAAs and we played at LSU. So being able to experience that again with decently a bigger crowd is going to be really huge. It's going to be really exciting. Like, I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to have like a home field advantage, have so many of our fans here cheering for us. So it's going to be really exciting.
Is there any adjustment? It's a weird question to ask, but to have all those fans after a year we've had.
I mean, yes and no. It's going to be different, like having so many at our field cheering for us. But we played at Bama, we played at Arkansas, and they had either they were at full capacity or they were almost there. And really, to me, nothing changed on the field. We still had our same game plan. We still went out there doing what we do. And it's just going to be nice having them cheering for us this time.
Any more questions for Chaumont?